In the bustling corridors of Crestview International High School, where trends shifted as quickly as morning rumors and social groups formed invisible boundaries, the new semester carried a familiar tension. This particular week, however, held a special weight Social Savvy Class 101, a full-week workshop meant to teach students about communication, confidence, perception, and behavior. Some students mocked it, others dreaded it, and many secretly hoped it would help them navigate the complex ecosystem of high school social life. Arya, a quiet and observant student, walked into the school building without fuss. She moved like someone who respected her own space and the space of others. She wasn't shy, she simply believed that silence had value. While many students broadcasted their lives online and offline, Arya preferred learning, reading, and understanding the world instead of performing for it. She wasn't invisible because she lacked presence. She was invisible because she refused to inflate herself for attention. Meanwhile, the school's most popular student, Ryan, stepped onto campus surrounded by greetings, laughter, and effortless attention. Ryan wasn't popular through force. He naturally attracted people with his easy smile and confident energy. Teachers trusted him, students admired him, and the school often featured him in promotional videos. Yet behind the polished presence lived a boy who felt constantly watched, constantly expected to be perfect. He never complained, but the pressure followed him like a silent shadow. Up until this week, Arya and Rian had never held a conversation longer than a passing nod. To Arya, he was a symbol of the loud world she avoided. To Rian, she was a quiet figure he couldn't decipher. Someone who didn't seem influenced by trends or external noise, which made her somewhat intriguing even from a distance. On the first day of Social Savvy Class 101, the school auditorium filled with chatter. Arya sat quietly in a far corner. She didn't dislike the program, she simply anticipated it would be noisy and repetitive. Ryan entered a few minutes late, delayed by a tidal wave of greetings. The teacher, tasked with pairing students who wouldn't normally interact, scanned the available seats and said, "Ryan, you pair up with Arya." A soft wave of whispers traveled through the auditorium. Arya remained calm, unaffected. Ryan approached her with polite curiosity. The contrast between them was instantly noticeable. He carried the energy of someone constantly surrounded, while she carried the peace of someone who lived comfortably within her own thoughts. Their first task was deceptively simple. Each pair had to introduce themselves truthfully and share one thing they felt misunderstood about them. Arya spoke first. Her voice was steady, almost serene. "People think I ignore them because I stay quiet," she said. "But I'm not ignoring anyone. I just believe in speaking only when necessary." Ryan listened, unexpectedly drawn in. Her honesty lacked theatrics, which made it feel real. He followed with his own truth. "People think I don't get tired of attention," he said, "but it can feel overwhelming sometimes." For a brief moment, they simply looked at each other. And without forcing it, understanding quietly bridged the gap between their worlds. Their main assignment for the week was to work together on a project titled Modern Social Behavior and Human Connection. The goal was to analyze how miscommunication and assumptions affect relationships, including friendships, teamwork, and general interactions. It wasn't meant to be romantic or dramatic. It was meant to be insightful and honest. Their first meeting was in the school library. Arya arrived early, prepared with detailed notes and structured ideas. Ryan arrived exactly on time, surprising her with his own organized notes. She had assumed he would be casual about the work, but he showed genuine interest. Their minds flowed together smoothly. Arya had depth. Rian had perspective. Their ideas did not clash. They merged effortlessly, forming a balanced approach. Throughout that week, Rian noticed things about Arya that he had never observed in anyone else. She listened. Not just politely, but attentively. She didn't rush to fill silence. She didn't modify herself to seem likable. She valued clarity, focus, and sincerity. And her calmness was something he found grounding. Arya noticed things about Ryan too. He wasn't arrogant. He wasn't self-obsessed. He asked thoughtful questions. He took responsibility for his part of the project. He observed people not to judge them, but to understand them. And he had layers that none of his admirers seemed to see. Beneath the surface charm, there was a boy who longed for someone to understand him without expecting performance. Their classmates began to notice the unusual combination. Some whispered, some stared, but neither of them paid attention. Arya genuinely didn't care about gossip, and Rian found himself choosing silence over the usual social noise, wanting to stay present in these rare, genuine discussions. During one of their after-school sessions, while they worked on analyzing how perceptions are shaped by environment and personality, Rian asked something unexpectedly sincere. "Do you ever feel like people only know a tiny piece of you?" Arya looked up from her notes. "That's true for everyone," she said. "But in your case, people see too much of what's on the surface and too little of what's inside." Her words hit him with a quiet accuracy. He didn't know whether to feel exposed or understood. But for the first time, he wasn't afraid of being seen fully. Their conversations grew deeper without ever crossing boundaries. They spoke about pressure, expectations, misunderstandings, and the difference between being seen and being understood. Ryan discovered comfort in Arya's honesty, and Arya discovered clarity in Ryan's perspectives. What formed between them wasn't loud or dramatic, it was gentle, respectful, and rooted in genuine understanding. When presentation day arrived, their project stood out for its depth and sincerity. They didn't use flashy animations or trendy language. They spoke calmly, confidently, and truthfully about how modern communication often hides emotions instead of expressing them. Their examples, drawn from their own discussions, highlighted how judging someone based on assumptions can damage potential connections. Their message resonated because it wasn't artificial. It came from their lived experience that week. The room felt unusually silent when they finished. Their words left a thoughtful stillness in the air. The teacher praised their balanced insight, and even students who never cared about such topics found themselves reflecting on their own behavior. After the class ended, Ryan and Arya walked outside together. The evening sky was painted in soft orange and pink tones. They didn't rush to fill the silence. They simply walked, sharing the quiet. Ryan finally said, "I'm glad we were paired." Arya responded calmly, "You worked well." He smiled, not the practiced smile he used daily, but a real one. "I think I learned more about people this week than in the last 2 years. And about yourself too," Arya added gently. He nodded. Her understanding had become a comfort he didn't know he needed. She didn't place him on a pedestal. She didn't treat him like a symbol. She treated him like a person. And for someone who lived under constant public attention, that simple act felt meaningful. Arya didn't assume anything about his feelings. She treated him with the same steady respect she carried for everyone. Rian didn't push his emotions onto her. He simply appreciated the rare sense of peace he felt around her. Their story didn't transform into drama or sudden romance. It evolved naturally. Rian began valuing quiet spaces. Arya slowly opened up more than before. They started studying together, discussing ideas, and sharing thoughts about life. They didn't force anything. They let the connection grow at its own pace, grounded in understanding rather than assumptions. Ryan realized that he didn't admire Arya because she was different. He admired her because she made him feel seen, not watched, understood, not analyzed, human, not perfect. Arya realized that behind popularity there was often loneliness, behind confidence there was vulnerability, and behind noise there was someone who appreciated her calmness. And as the semester continued, their bond grew quietly, steadily, and honestly. Not because they sought attention, not because they needed validation, but because two very different worlds discovered harmony in each other. Their connection wasn't a story of drama. It was a story of understanding. A story of how sometimes the person who seems to ignore the world ends up being the one who understands it best. And sometimes the one admired by everyone ends up admiring the one who observes silently. Between the ignored girl and the popular boy, a meaningful chapter began, not defined by labels, but by truth and mutual respect.